You ever notice how the room fills up when you're on top? How everybody wants a seat at your table when the drinks are flowing, when the pockets are full, when your name carries weight? They show up with smiles, with hands out, with sweet words dripping like honey. But let me tell you something, most of them, they ain't friends, they ain't family, they're leeches. See, when you got power, when you got money, the world acts like it loves you. You walk in and people light up, they act like they've been down for you since day one. But what happens when the lights dim? When the cash don't flow as easy? When the crown starts slipping just a little? That's when you see the truth. That's when the masks fall off. They don't love you. They love what you can do for them. The moment you can't feed them, can't boost them, can't make them look good, they scatter like roaches when the light comes on. They don't call. They don't check you. And worse, some of them, the ones you thought were solid, they'll be the first ones lining up to take your place, to dance on your downfall. That's the game, kid. That's how it works. But you don't let that break you. You don't sit there crying over the ones who left. Because those people, they were never yours to begin with. They were just renting space in your world. And the lease expired the second you weren't useful to them. You don't waste your time trying to keep them. You don't beg. You don't chase. You don't sit around wondering what you did wrong. Nah, you wipe the slate clean. You cut them loose without a second thought. Because the real ones, the ones who belong in your circle, they ain't there for the money, the power, the fame. They're there because they believe in you, whether you're sitting on a throne or crawling out of the gutter. That's why you keep your circle small. You test people. You watch how they move when you're down. Anybody can toast your success, but who's still there when you got nothing to offer? Who's still standing next to you when the whole world turns its back? That's who matters. That's your crew. And let me tell you something, loser. It ain't the end. It's the beginning. Because when you lose, when you fall, that's when you learn who you are. That's when you see who's real. That's when you cut the dead weight and rebuild stronger. Because the ones who left, they did you a favor. They showed you exactly who never deserved to be there in the first place. So let them go. Let them laugh. Let them celebrate like they won. Because one day you rise again. One day you build bigger, better, untouchable. And when that day comes, don't even look their way. Don't give them a seat. Don't give them a chance. Let them stand outside watching. Let them regret. Because the biggest revenge, it ain't proving them wrong. It's proving you never needed them to win in the first place. You think losing is the worst thing that can happen to you? Nah. The worst thing is realizing you built your kingdom surrounded by rats. People who smiled in your face, called you brother, acted like they were riding with you for life. But the second the gold started to fade, the second the throne got shaky, they turned into ghosts, or worse, vultures. That's the real betrayal. Not losing the money, not losing the power. It's looking around and seeing empty seats where loyalty was supposed to be. You gave them a piece of your world, let them eat at your table, and when they were full, they walked away like you never fed them. That's what stings. But you don't let it break you. You take the hit, you feel the sting, and then you use it. You turn that pain into something sharp, something unbreakable. Because if there's one lesson life will teach you, it's this. The ones who leave when you lose were never supposed to be there when you win. That's why you never mistake company for loyalty. Just because you're surrounded by people doesn't mean you're surrounded by real ones. It's easy to be a friend when the sun is shining. Everybody loves the winner. They laugh at your jokes, they show up to your parties, they wear your name like a badge. But what happens when the storm comes? What happens when you're bleeding, when you need a hand instead of a favor. That's when you find out who's real. And let me tell you, that list, it's short, real short. You gotta pay attention. You gotta watch for the signs. Who only calls when they need something? Who disappears when you're the one asking? Who's clapping for you in public but jealous of you in private? That's poison. And here's the thing, when you finally see the truth, when you start cutting people off, they're gonna say you changed. They're gonna call you cold, heartless, ungrateful. Let them. Because the truth is, you didn't change. You just stopped playing dumb. You stopped feeding the hands that only reached out to take. You stopped wasting energy on people who never deserved a seat at your table in the first place. See, the world don't teach you how to deal with betrayal. It teaches you how to ignore it, how to pretend it doesn't hurt. But why pretend? Why act like it don't burn when someone you trusted turns their back on you? Feel that pain. Let it fuel you. Let it remind you to be smarter next time. Because next time there won't be second chances. Next time you'll see the snakes before they get close enough to bite. And you know what's funny? The ones who left, the ones who turned their backs, they think they won. They think they got away with something. But time has a way of bringing everything full circle. One day they need you. One day they remember what they threw away. And when that day comes, you don't open the door. You don't give them another shot. You let them sit in the mess they made. Because that's the thing about losing, don't lost. You hit the ground, yeah. You take a fall. But you don't stay there. You get back up. You build again. Stronger, smarter. And this time, no weak links, no dead weight. Just you and the ones who never left. But you gotta be ready for that climb. Because bouncing back ain't easy. The moment you start rising, the moment they see you getting back on your feet, those same people who left, they'll come crawling back, acting like nothing happened, acting like they were always in your corner, like they always believed in. And it's them to aim it, to let them back in. To prove to yourself that you were right about them. That maybe, just maybe, they were never fake to begin with. Don't fall for it. You already got your answer. They showed you who they were. Believe it. I love that once again. You let them back in, and next time they won't just leave, they'll destroy you on the way out. That's what leeches do. They don't stop taking until there's nothing left of you. That's why when you rise different, you move different, you talk different, and most importantly, you trust different. You don't waste energy proving yourself to people who never deserved you. You don't beg for loyalty. You don't chase after those who walked away. You don't explain your success. You don't apologize for coming back stronger. You just move. And let them watch. Because trust me, they are watching. The same ones who left you behind, they're checking in, asking about you, seeing if you made it without them. And when they realize you did, when they realize you didn't just survive, you thrived, that's the real revenge. Not anger, not hate, not getting even. Just proving, without a single word, that you never needed them to begin. And you know what's gonna happen then? They're gonna start regretting. They're gonna start thinking about how they could have been standing next to you instead of watching from the sidelines. But by then, too late. The door is shut. The bridge is burned. And the only thing they get to hold on to is the memory of what they lost. So let them talk. Let them spread their little stories. Let them act like they were always loyal. Let them pretend, it doesn't matter. Because you're too busy winning. Too busy stalking, too busy building, too busy living the life they swore you'd never have again. And when they finally come knocking, when they start reaching out with fake smiles and empty words, you don't even need to say a word. Just keep walking. Keep rising. Keep proving that the only ones who mattered were the ones who never left in the first place. They don't teach you this part. They don't tell you that success comes with a price. That when you start winning, people don't just clap for you. Some do, sure. But most, they smile in your face. while waiting for their turn to take what's yours. They show love as long as they think you need them, as long as you fit into the world they put you in. But the second you outgrow that, the second you don't need them anymore, suddenly the same people who cheered for you start looking at you differently. You ever notice how some people only support you when they think they're ahead of you, when they feel like they got something over you? The moment you pass them, the moment you start doing better than they expected, that's when the envy kicks in. That's when the smiles start feeling forced. They don't want you to fail, no. They just don't want you to win more than them. And if you do, they either turn on you or try to find a way to ride your wave, hoping they can grab a piece of what you built. That's why you gotta move carefully. You gotta watch the people around you. Not when times are hard, but when times are good. Anybody can show loyalty when you're struggling. That don't mean nothing. The real test, watch how they act when you start shining. Do they celebrate with you, or do they start acting different? Do they clap with real love, or do they clap while secretly waiting for the day you fall? Because some people, they ain't here to support you. They're here to keep you where they can control you. And when they can't do that anymore, when they see you stepping into your power, their true colors start bleeding through. They start throwing shade, making slick comments, trying to make you doubt yourself. They say you changed, say you forgot where you came from, try to guilt you for outgrowing them. But what they really mean is they can't use you anymore. What they really mean is they liked you better when you weren't a threat. And that's the part they don't tell you about success. It don't just change your life. It changes the people around you. Not because you wanted it to, but because some people only know how to love you when they feel like they're above you. The second that balance shifts, they either switch up or disappear. And you gotta be okay with it. You gotta understand that. Losing people ain't a setback, it's a filter. Every time you level up, some people ain't gonna make it to the next stage. And that's fine. Because if they couldn't be happy for you, if they couldn't stand beside you without feeling threatened, they were never solid to begin with. But here's the trick. When people start falling off, when you start seeing who's real and who's fake, don't get bitter. Don't waste time being angry. Don't waste energy trying to prove yourself to people who already decided they'd rather envy you than support you. Let them go, let them talk, let them watch from the outside. That's their punishment, not being able to sit at your table anymore, not getting to be a part of the story they could have helped build. Because one thing about life, it always comes full circle. The same people who counted you out, the same ones who left when you weren't useful, they always come back. Not because they care, not because they suddenly see your worth. They come back because they realize they played themselves. They see you winning, see you thriving, and now they want to act like they were with you the whole time. They'll test the waters, send a message, act like nothing happened, like they didn't disappear when you needed them, like they didn't doubt you when you were building. They'll smile, they'll ask how you've been, they'll pretend they always believed in you. And that's when you get to make a choice. Do you let them back in? Do you give them another shot? Do you pretend like you don't remember how they left? Because they don't deserve to be part of your success if they couldn't handle your struggle. They don't get to eat at your table when they walked away while you were starving. They don't get to benefit from what you built when they never helped lay a single brick. And trust me, the moment you shut that door, that's when they start feeding in. That's when regret starts creeping in. Because now they don't just see you winning, they see you winning without them. And that's what really eats them alive. Not your success, but the fact that they ain't a part of it. That's the lesson. That's what you gotta understand. When you're up, everybody wants a piece. Everybody wants to claim they were there from the start. But when the chips were down, when you had nothing, that's when you saw the truth. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So don't waste your breath explaining yourself. Don't waste your energy trying to make them understand. They made their choice. Now they live with it. And you keep building. You keep moving. You keep winning. Because the best part of success, it's not the money, it's not the power, it's not the fame. It's looking around and knowing that everybody in your circle, they're there because they deserve to be. Because they earned that spot. Because when things got tough, they stood beside you instead of walking away. And that's worth more than anything. There's a moment in life when you realize you don't owe anybody anything. Not your time, not your energy, not your loyalty. Because loyalty, that's earned, that's proven. And most people, they ain't built for it. They'll swear they got you back, swear they'll ride with you till the end, but the second the road gets rough, they're gone. And if they ain't gone, they're standing on the sidelines, watching, waiting to see if you're gonna sink or swim. You ever notice that? How quiet people get when you're struggling? How the same ones who used to call, used to come around, suddenly ain't got the time, ain't got the words? That's because they were never really there for you. They were there for the benefits, for the shine, for what you could do for them. And when that's gone, so are they. But let me tell you something good. Let them go. Let them show themselves. Because the best thing you can do is watch who disappears when you're down. That's your filter. That's how you clean house. You don't need those people. You never did. They were just taking up space, waiting for their turn to cash in. See, when you're winning, the world acts different. The respect, it comes easy. The attention, non-stop. Everybody suddenly sees your potential, sees your worth. But when you lose, when you fall, that's when you learn the truth. That's when you see who respects you for real and who was just there for the free ride. And that lesson, it's priceless. Because once you see it, you can't be fooled again. Once you know who's fake, you stop wasting time. You stop explaining yourself. You stop giving second chances to people who already showed you they can't be trusted. They'll say you got cold, that you changed. But what did they expect? You ain't here to be used. You ain't here to carry people who wouldn't do the same for you. They walked away first. You just made sure they stayed gone. And the crazy thing is, the moment you start winning again, they'll try to come back. Like nothing happened. Like they never switched up. They'll test the waters, see if they can slide back in, see if you'll be dumb enough to let them, but you won't. Because you remember. You remember how it felt when they were silent, when they didn't show up, when they treated you like you didn't matter. That's why you move different now. That's why your circle's smaller. That's why you don't entertain the same people. Don't waste your breath on explanations. Don't give your time to those who never deserved it. And you know what's funny? The same people who left you when you were down, they expect you to be bitter. They expect you to chase them, to prove yourself, to show them that you're still the same. But you're not. And that's what kills them the most. Because you didn't just survive, you got better. You got smarter. And now they don't know how to reach you. They don't know how to get back in. And that eats them alive. See, most people, they take kindness for weakness. They think just because you got a big heart, you keep giving, keep forgiving. But the second you cut them off, the second you make it clear that you ain't playing their game anymore, they panic. Because they thought they had you figured out. They thought they could walk in and out of your life whenever they felt like it. But now, you ain't answering the phone. You ain't responding to messages. You ain't giving them another chance. And that's when it hits them. That's when they realize they lost something they can't get back. And the truth is, you're not even mad anymore. You're not angry, you're not hurt, you just don't care. And that's the real punishment. Because people like them, they feed off reactions. They want you to chase them. They want you to prove that they matter. But you moved on. And nothing haunts a fake person more than realizing they can't affect you. That's real power. Not revenge. Not proving them wrong. Not making them pay. Just walking away. Just being untouchable. just knowing deep down that you never needed them in the first place. So let them watch. Let them regret. Let them sit with the fact that when it mattered, they chose wrong. And you keep winning. You keep rising. You keep proving without a single word that their absence meant nothing. Because in the end, the only ones who matter are the ones who never left.